Good evening, friends. In this session, we are taking up class 11 English core, and the topic is Albert Einstein at School, lesson 4 by Patrick Pringle. Well, friends, and in this story, Patrick Pringle describes the bitter experience of the grief the scientist had to face at his own school in Germany. The lesson expresses the hollowness of education system in Germany at that time. Einstein finds the school education quite boring and dull. It kills free thinking and new ideas. Einstein had to devise a way to get expelled from the school. So that is how this story goes on. See, it happens, the history class was going on, and the history teacher, Mr. Burrow, asked Albert Einstein about the date when, you know, Prussians defeated the French at the Battle of Waterloo. Einstein replied saying that he didn't remember the answer and he doesn't find any point in remembering dates. And so he just replied in negative, saying that he doesn't find any point in remembering dates and facts. Actually, in his opinion, in the opinion of Einstein, Albert Einstein, ideas are more important than dates and facts, and therefore he answered in negative. Albert's answer irritated the history teacher, and he just declared that Albert was a disgrace to the school. But Albert believed that ideas are more important than facts and figures. The teacher thought that Albert didn't believe in education. He talked a sarcastic manner. Albert told him that education should be about learning ideas and innovative facts, not the dates and rotten facts. The teacher just considered him a disgrace to the school. Einstein lived, in a hut, a small room in a slum area. He felt miserable when he left the school that afternoon. He didn't like the school. He would have come again, but he didn't want to come again. He lived in a small room. It was situated in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. The landlady used to beat her children every day and she used to abuse them. This Einstein didn't like. He hated children being beaten. He saw them crying every time. He told his friend Yuri about all these happenings and he said that he hated the atmosphere of this slum violence. Then he met Ilsa, his cousin, and his cousin came to Munich. She told Albert that if he tried, he could pass the examination. He had to only vomit in the exam certain facts and events, and that will make him pass the examination. But Einstein didn't believe in learning facts and thoughts, and he just said that he liked music because music lubricated his mind. Einstein needed a medical certificate to get expelled from that school. He told Yuri that if he got a medical certificate that he was suffering from nervous breakdown, he would certainly be expelled or he will be allowed to leave the school for 6 months. Yuri, his friend, approached a doctor. He narrated all this story. The doctor eventually saw, Einstein. At that time, Einstein was almost at the point of nervous breakdown. He issued him a medical certificate, and that way, Einstein got rid of that school. When he left that school, he went, to meet the. He had to face the interview with the head teacher. The head teacher explained to him that so long as he was there in the school, it was difficult for the teachers to teach anything. The head teacher gave several reasons for his leaving the school. He said that Albert's presence made it impossible for the teachers to teach and the pupils and learn. No serious work could be done as long as he was there. Albert felt that he is spending money on the medical certificate proved useless. For a moment, Albert felt like telling him that he thought of him and that is cool, but he didn't. He went out of the room. The head teacher asked him to close the door. He didn't see towards the head teacher, and that day just left that place. Albert felt like seeing him, only his friend Yuri. He had no other real friend, and therefore he left that school. So that this story narrates how miserable was the education system in Germany, and that time, Albert, a great scientist who turned out to be Albert Einstein, a great scientist, didn't like the schooling because the schooling was simply, rotten, system of by hearting and you know um, you know collecting facts and dates, and there was nothing like learning of ideas, and therefore the concept he thought of, that education must be based on learning ideas and exploring new things, and therefore he didn't like schooling at all, and that was the reason why he left the school. So this story also narrates the hollowness of education system in Germany at that time. This also relates to the hollowness of the education system in many of the European countries that time. Though Albert Einstein rose to be a great scientist in the world, but the schooling at that time in most of the places was not congenial for the growth of ideas and growth of scientific mind, and therefore this story tells us that education must be based on scientific knowledge, scientific exploration of knowledge, ideas rather than facts, because only ideas can make things better in life. No facts and dates can help us grow well mentally and physically, and therefore it is important to make education innovative and ideas based, and that is what I wanted to conclude with. Thank you. Have a nice day.